STEM panel this year, and we're back. And we are back where it all started, so I just want to appreciate you all. We have a full room now. This is amazing. If you don't know, I started All Things STEM with Ashley back in January. I wanted to have a platform where people could learn tips for success, mentorship, personal development from people that look like us, by us, and that have lived through the different situations and experiences. So it's growing. We have like 18 episodes on YouTube. We're on Spotify. Like, we're just growing. We're doing things in the community. So I'm excited. So thank you all for coming today. I hope you learned something, and I hope you meet some new people. So we have amazing panelists here. Some of them have their episodes already, and some are more to come. So we're going to go down the road and ask everybody to do a brief 30-second introduction. So we'll start with Warren.
How's everybody doing? My name is Warren Richardson from Southfield, Michigan. Currently a systems engineer. I previously started as in the facilities world, then slowly transitioned to systems engineering post-college. So yeah, happy to be here. Thank you, Ashley, for having me come on.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Abdi Muhammad. It is a blessing and a very great pleasure to be here. I'm from San Diego, California originally, and I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a lead cloud governance engineer, so I do a lot of security and cost optimization work for all things cloud technology. And my favorite anime right now is One Piece.
Nice.
Hello everyone, my name is Lenny Pyrus. I just worked recently in systems engineering and software engineering, and now I'm working in geospatial engineering for a lot of aerospace development right now. And I'm really excited to be here. I started my career up in New Jersey, and now I'm here in Texas. So I'm really excited to impart some wisdom and maybe help out anybody here in need. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Kyle Davis. I'm originally from Breaux Bridge, Louisiana. I graduated from Southern University at LSU with a bachelor's in electrical engineering. And I currently work as a systems engineer for an aerospace company. And I'm here to support any way I can. Glad to be here with y'all.
Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? How you feeling?
Really good.
That's good. My name is Eric Pierce. I'm originally born and raised in Long Island, New York. I made my way down to North Carolina A&T, where I got my degree in civil and environmental engineering. I've been since migrated after working out there for a few years to Dallas about 2.5 years ago. I'm loving it, and I'm happy to be here and impart some wisdom. And let's do this.
Right.
I'm John Conlon. I graduated from University of Texas at Arlington 3 months ago, and then I currently work at an aerospace company as a project engineer, and I also work at a university. It's 10 minutes northeast. For fun, I like to play board games and go hiking.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. So now we're going to go back all the way around, so we can start with John. We can start with John.
Oh, okay.
Just because it's already over here. We're going to talk about how you got introduced into STEM and what inspired you to pursue a career in STEM.
Yeah, so when I was 3, I really liked building blocks. And then when I was 5, I really liked Legos. And I think when I was 11, I really liked Minecraft. But I also had very supportive parents that pushed me into having STEM skills at a young age. I did math competitions in middle school, and then robotics from 12 to 18. And then after I got my first internship, really liked the industrial engineering degree I have and that kind of work. So that's how I got started, is because parents pushed me in the right place, and my mom is also an engineer, so built-in role model.
So STEM and me. So again, I was born and raised in New York, so I always had a natural fascination for like buildings and the how things were done. Like you looking at something, you're like, how did they do that? So I always wanted to be kind of like behind that, and just to say, yeah, I did that, or just be a part of something that's kind of bigger than myself. So naturally that led to me studying engineering at A&T, And there, STEM, it was an open book. It was a lot of disciplines, a lot of this engineer, that engineer, a lot of umbrellas from whatever discipline of engineering that you were in. So just being a part of something that's bigger than myself and just like having to figure things out and just knowing that it's hard and just, that's like, it's an accomplishment, something that's kind of like talk about and be proud of. And that just naturally attracted me to STEM. So, yeah.
So how I got introduced to STEM was through my cousin and my brother-in-law. So as I was matriculating through high school, I was trying to figure out which way to go. I was very good in math. I was always asking questions on why are things the way it was. And talking with my cousins and my brother-in-law, it kind of inspired me to do engineering. So that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
So for me, what really got me into STEM was just my passion to create. Like I've always been, interested in doing that, and STEM was really the avenue for me to be able to do that. And one thing, just a little fun fact about me, I'm of Haitian descent. So I actually moved here when I was really wee little baby, but that really always made me want to give back to where I was from and do something as far as like development, technology, and one of my main goals is to eventually go back and help my country and any kind of development that I could be able to do with the knowledge I gained here. So that's really what got me into STEM.
I'm not sure how I'm supposed to follow up. That's the sarcastic. Yeah, so my name, well, no, I'll tell you my name. As far as inspiration to get into STEM, my original plans when I went to college, my goal was to become an economist. I was fascinated about the way trade works, market works, the way money works, like what is this thing we call money, right? And eventually I realized if I wanted to become an economist and be paid as an economist, I'd have to get my PhD. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. So I'm like, all right, I need to get this degree and start making money ASAP. So I pivoted to management information systems, so studying how technology is used in the business world. And yeah, I met some folks from NSBE. Raise your hand if you know NSBE. Yeah, I met a couple of folks there in NSBE while I was in college at San Diego State University. And one of the gentlemen by the name of Malcolm Gordon was in the cybersecurity career. And I'm like, hey, what's this cyber thing? And I'm like, okay. Y'all make money? He said, yeah, we'll make money. I'm like, all right. There it is. So I joined STEM for the money.
For me, mine is pretty simple. I kind of just always loved, like growing up, just how things work. I love putting stuff together. Growing up, I always thought I was the real Bob the Builder. So yeah, that was pretty much, and like just along the time, just me growing up, my mom always put me inside of like, just into different STEM programs, all throughout middle school, even early high school. There was like a program up north called DAPSEP, and I was heavily involved like all throughout middle school with that, just doing different type of engineering courses. Didn't know what I wanted to do, still going to college, what engineering I wanted to pursue, which is why like I ended up just doing mechanical, and then ended up not doing mechanical and doing physics with a minor in mathematics. Still, obviously pursuing engineering, but yeah, that's kind of my background.
Awesome, thank you. I got involved in STEM because my mom enrolled me into a STEM after school care group in middle school, and I really enjoyed doing the science experiments and such. And then we got to go to the Society of Women Engineers conference at Georgia Tech and get to see like all the other ladies that looked like me, and they were doing great things. And so it just continued into high school and college, and now we're here. So I'm really excited about how we're going to impact other future STEM leaders. So thank you all for your backgrounds. I'm so glad you're in STEM. I'm so glad we met. So now we're going to go down to the next few questions, and we'll have a few panelists answer each question. So for Abdi and Warren, I have you had any mentors who helped shape your journey in STEM? And if so, who are they and how did they impact you?
Yeah, so I actually have 3 mentors. My first one, I actually met him when I was in high school. The last year of my high school, I actually ended up interning with him, and that's how I got involved into the facility management world. And he was my mentor for maybe like 5.5 years up until he kind of resigned from the position. So he was the one that kind of helped me as far as like building my technical skills and leadership skills by just providing me with so many opportunities. Post that, me resigning from the position that I was in post-college, I ended up, when I actually moved to the aerospace industry, I met my second mentor just randomly at a bar, just sitting at the bar, getting some food. Great guy, we had good conversation. He was actually a manager in a different business area within my company. So he kind of just been guiding me, and he's like a seasoned engineer. So just hearing his feedback on the things that he wished that he could have done, and just kind of guiding me with my 5-year to 10-year goals, just kind of has been very helpful. And then my third mentor, gotta pay my respects to Ashley. Yes. I actually met Ashley at a NSBE event. I think, was it last?
It was December.
Yeah. Last December. Honestly, since then, Ashley's just been so helpful when it came to kind of getting me out of my comfort zone of just networking, providing me opportunities to be able to speak in front of you guys. And even, when it comes to formatting email, like she kind of helped me word things better. And yeah, that's how it came about, like just my mentors now.
Yeah, so I've had my fair share of mentors throughout my whole life. As far as college, being in NSBE, like Warren said, I have two mentors in particular. One by the name of Malcolm Gordon. He's a staff security engineer at Northrop Grumman, and I had another gentleman by the name of Dr. Hodge. Dr. Hodge. He's from the Virgin Islands. Had the thickest accent you'll ever hear in your life. Coolest man on the planet. He was the VP of IT at San Diego State University, and he gave me my first IT job. And he sat me down and he told me, he said, hey, I can get you ready for a professional career in a year, but I'm gonna need your best, right? And he taught me so much things about, corporate America, how to communicate with others, how to work in teams, how to document, your progress, how to go about salary negotiation. And, he sat me down and told me that, hey, you're going to have to stop, approaching this like an amateur. Because I was telling him, hey, I'm applying for jobs. He said, no, you got to sit down, put it in your freaking calendar, and say, hey, we're applying for jobs on this fine Sunday. That's what we're doing. So he would tell me, you got to approach this like a professional. And I'm so grateful for him. We're still cool to this day. Whenever I go to San Diego, he, blesses me, with dinner, or we go to his house, and we're friends now. It's kind of cool. Like, after years go by,
Yeah.
you become friends with your mentors. It's the coolest thing ever. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
Thank you, Auntie. All right, you're gonna hold it?
Oh.
Because now for you and Warren, it's for those seeking mentorship, how should they go about finding a mentor?
So for me, for starters, events like this, these are things that I wish I would have taken advantage of, especially when I was in the middle of just trying to find mentorship in general, just trying to get into the industry. What should I do? Who should I connect with? But just taking advantage of events like this, going to Eventbrite, different networking mixers. Sometimes some companies offer mentorship within, like they have certain programs. Definitely look into those resources. Also, like if you know what your 5 to 10 year goals are, if you know people in those areas, reach out to them, see things that they, again, wish they would have did during that time, and yeah, just kind of going about it that way.
Yeah, to add on to Warren's point there, I think there are many avenues to get mentors. It's definitely at professional networking events for sure. Encourage folks to go outside. I'll also add, you might meet your mentor smoking a cigar. You might meet your mentor, while playing basketball at the local gym. Really, my encouragement to folks would be, hey, go outside. And we all know some folks in our lives today who refuse to step outside the house. Like, none magic's happening inside the house. You got to go outside. Life happens outside. So I think, events like this are great. Shout out to Ashley. I think, networking events. I think, community service. Go to community service. You'll be surprised the type of people that you'll meet at these events. And you'll notice very successful people, more often than not, they love giving back. So I definitely recommend folks, to go to the community service, you know, go to that run club. Yeah.
Thank you, Abdi.
Can I add one more thing?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I just want to add one more thing. Also note too, they don't have to actually be like in the field that you're looking for. They can honestly be any profession. I think knowledge comes with like so much. So again, you don't have to focus on like your specific field of work. You know, just kind of broaden your range, because I think, you know, everyone can provide you with, you know, different unique advice.
Thank you, Lauren. So now for Lenny and Abdi, we have what key skills, both technical and soft, do you think are critical for men in STEM to develop early in their careers?
So critical skills for men. I want to get that correct, for men.
Or anybody, but.
All right, because I got a lot to say on that topic. First, so if you look at college curriculum, right, it's not controversial. There's not that many women in STEM. That's a fact. Most of these classes, there's not that many. We're changing that one day at a time,
We are.
right? I have noticed with some men, unfortunately, they don't know what it's like or know how to effectively work with women. Their communication skills are subpar. They're underdeveloped. Because in their class, come on. You know why I'm here. You know why we're here. You know why we're here, right? You have men where their communication skills are very underdeveloped, because most of the times when they're in their STEM courses, right, they're not working on projects with women. They're working projects with men. The challenge with that is that they don't understand how to go about working with women, right? The way you communicate amongst men is very different than the way you communicate with women. You know, kind of like reading the room. Some guys don't have that capability because it's just underdeveloped, right? You know, you wasn't shooting in the gym. I'm sorry, you got to work on your game, right? So I would say critical for skills for men to develop. TLDR, all of that to summarize. Make sure that you are working on your communication skills. Go outside, meet people that don't look like you, that don't come from the same world as you, and develop that muscle.
That's right.
That is all I have to say, Mr. John. Thank you.
So as far as communication skills, I would say that's very important for sure. And to go on the more technical side, I would definitely recommend, you know, any men trying to get into STEM, definitely study the practical sciences, you know, any sciences that have to do with things that you can notice and that's observable. You know, I think that will really help, because now you're able to communicate from a perspective that we all can kind of find similarities in. Like, hey, I could tell how the tree is growing. I could tell, you know, how my car works. You know, things like that. These practical sciences that people can use every day. That's a very good thing to have, because you never know what kind of industry you might get into, especially if you're still in college and learning. So get those practical sciences together. As far as soft skills, I think you hit the nail on the head. You know, learn how to read the room. You know, see what people want. That's something that you can learn in anything. You know, a lot of people use that techniques in sales and everything, but I would say even in STEM, you'll find that if you know what people want, you'll be able to solve whatever problems you have. So really look into that as well, and make sure you're, you know, being somebody that's kind. Like, people a lot of times, you know, don't take note that the kinder you are, the more you'll be able to get out of people. Like, really hone in on the fact that, hey, you know, we're all, you know, humans living our lives, but take that time to, you know, understand where people are coming from, and you never know what you're going to be able to learn. Some people have a wealth of knowledge that doesn't come really easily, but you want to be able to be like, hey, you know, I'm here listening to you, and I want to get that knowledge, and hopefully you can impart that. So definitely work on your kindness, you know, work on those soft skills, those selling skills, reading the room skills, and definitely on the technical side, learn as much as you can on the practical sciences side.
Thank you, Lynn. So this next question is for everyone. What has been your proudest achievement in your career so far? So we can start with John.
I consider my proudest achievement is aiding my classmates and friends with a different job interview or applications, and watching them get either hired or find success in their career.
I would say my proudest accomplishment is happening right now as we speak on the project that I'm working on. It's a lot. I'll probably expand on it a little bit later, but the project I'm on is very big. It's the biggest project I've ever worked on. The most stress I've ever had to manage on a day-to-day basis, the most communication, the most everything that you can think of under the sun. That I felt all the emotions. So me going through that and just still living life and just being who I am authentically, that's one of my proudest accomplishments. And I'm doing it live. So I'm being proud of myself every day. Getting through the week. Every week is another accomplishment. I made it through another week, so yeah.
That's awesome, thank you.
So one of my proudest moments was my first internship with a power distribution company in New Orleans, and that gave me a confidence to understand that I belong in these rooms. And also working across different companies, you meet people from different universities, whether it's MIT, Georgetown, and you meet these people and you figure out like, wait, we have the same questions, we have the same curiosities. We don't all know everything, but the one thing I took from that experience was, one, I can do hard things in this engineering space, and two, you have to remain a sponge at all times, no matter how much you learn. Make sure you're asking those follow-up questions. Go to your manager's office and ask things, how can you improve on things, or when you finish a project, hey, what could I have done better? Right, so staying curious, and I would say that was my proudest moment, my first internship in 2018 as a power distribution engineer.
Awesome, Kyle.
My proudest moment in my career, I would have to say this is something that just recently happened. So around March, I was able to get an amazing opportunity in the aerospace kind of field, and I was able to really start working on real life fighter jets, and I was able to actually go on a military compound, essentially, right? And I was able to, test stuff. So I don't know if anybody in here ever saw the movie Top Gun, the Maverick or anything like that. So I was able to be like a real life, Tom Cruise, and actually be interacting with some of, the top, pilots in our country, the people that are protecting us on a day-to-day basis, especially from a sky perspective. So that really was one of the most fulfilling experiences of my life, because, I, put in a lot as far as, making it here, even to Texas. It was a big career shift for me. I was doing a lot of software engineering before, and then I came back into the defense industry to really do more as far as systems engineering. And, I didn't know how to feel about it, just because I was like, hey, is this the right move? But after, I would say earlier this year, I was like, okay, this is the right move. And I feel like I really made a home here, and I'm so happy that I was able to get that, because now I realize that I can do really anything I've set my mind to, and I've always felt confident, but, sometimes your confidence needs a boost depending on, whatever struggles, personally or, emotionally you might be going through. So, getting that experience was one of the proudest moments of my life, so, yeah.
My proudest moment in my career is actually happening right now. Like, I have 8 siblings. I have 7 younger sisters. I know. It was a lot. And I love them dearly. You can get on to the camera. I love you guys. I love you all a lot. One of my younger sisters, she just completed her internship at Accenture doing IT. Yep. Another sister of mine, she just got her security engineering job working in San Diego. Clap for that. Let's clap for that. My younger brother just got his first systems analyst job in Minnesota.
Okay.
That is my greatest accomplishment.
Okay, so my greatest accomplishment, it'll probably have to start in college, and I'm going to tie it back to the now. I started my first STEM program at a middle school in college. I kind of have a passion, that's how I really got involved with STEM. But I wanted to just kind of basically show the same in a community that didn't really have that many opportunities offered to them as far as like STEM programs. So in college I started it, I did it for like two or three years. And yeah, just did it at middle school, and then following up to the now, I'm actually trying to bring it to Dallas. It'll kind of just be open to anybody. I kind of don't want to put it like just in one school, but it'll just be for the younger generation. Just to kind of expose them to STEM. Of course, they don't have to major in STEM, but it's just to kind of get their brain working, get them moving. But yeah, that's probably my proudest accomplishment thus far.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. You all have done great, amazing things. I would say one of my proudest accomplishments is starting this platform, because I wanted to start it in 2020, and I always thought it needed to be perfect to start. But I had to understand you have to do it scared, you have to just try, you have to ask for help, and you have to do your research. And you learn as you go, and things get better over time. So I just appreciate all the support I have gotten the past 8 months, and I hope to continue to grow and make an impact on others. So thank you all for that support. So next, for Eric and Opti, we have, how do you balance being authentic while maintaining professionalism in STEM spaces? So go ahead, you're right there.
So the question was, how do you maintain
Being
professionalism?
being authentic while maintaining professionalism in STEM spaces.
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer in not bringing your whole self to work. There are parts of your life that you probably shouldn't be sharing with everybody at work. I will say that you can still be who you are. You can still be who you are, at your core, which is your values, what you value, what's important to you. However, when it comes to being professional, understand that, not everybody grew up in the same upbringing as you. So, just understand that they might not share the same values as you, right? So just keep in mind that, you can be authentic, you can be who you are, and, you can have your values in the workplace. Just understand that if you want to maintain that, you got to make sure that you don't allow other folks to bully you into being someone you're not. You can still be professional and be you. Matter of fact, the greatest thing you can do for your career is be you. Because who's better at being you than you? Come on now, come on now, come on now. It's getting hot, it's getting hot, it's getting hot.
That was a good response, man. Who is better being you than you? I like that. I like that. Being authentic and professional in the same sentence. I'm still figuring it out myself. I deal with imposter syndrome. Me being black in a mostly non-black industry, it's just how I was raised, how I talk, how I move, how I think, the opportunities that I did not have, all of that goes into, that's just who I am. And just trying to figure out, like, do I not be this person? Do I be this person? What does being anchored in professionalism look like? So for me, my biggest thing that I told myself since I started about 7 years ago was, if you're competent and you're good at what you do, you can have the most personality that you can have in the world, right? But that's always with limits, in a professional setting. You don't want to be too much. You don't want to be too much on the jokey, the dry humor that goes on in the office, and et cetera, et cetera. You don't want to go too much on it, but you do want to have personality, something that somebody can trust, something that somebody feels comfortable coming to you, and just being human at the same time. So being authentic, just being anchored, and just understanding that do it with limits, especially, just got to do it with limits.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. So now for John and Kyle, we have, can you share some effective strategies for networking within STEM fields, and how has networking played a part in your career growth? And lastly, how do you find networking opportunities? So take whatever you need on that.
All right, yeah. Quick question, quick raise of hands. How many of y'all are still in college in either like a undergraduate to doctoral capacity?
That's a big span. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to get to know my audience a bit better. I had definitely guidance. My mom told me to join the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, which I did. There's our wonderful president right there. Great guy. I did that the second I stepped foot on college. Unfortunately, it was still closed down due to COVID. But when things like that happen, I was appointed to be their activities director. And while that sounds pretty cool, I organized a lot of Among Us games with you can't really go outside during COVID and all that. But that helped me develop a community with other like-minded engineers. And I'd say going to the SHIP National Convention in 2021 really opened my eyes to how many other Hispanics there are in engineering. And I met a lot of very nice people that took care of me during the entry of my career. One of those guys, his name was also happened to be John. And when I started my full-time role, I wanted to go back to do university recruiting for different assignments. I really wanted to go to the SHEP convention. He told me which person to contact for that. And unfortunately at that time the SHIP convention was full, but I was offered to go to the Society of Women Engineers conference as a helping recruiter. No idea why they let me do that, but I went. I hopefully did a good job, and then they also sent me to recruit the National Society of Black Engineers last March, which I found to be a very good time. I really enjoyed the conference. There was a comedy show, it was pretty funny. They don't really do that at SHIP. But, you know, I just hang out with cool people like Matthew and some other friends back there. And always say yes to events, even if I'm unaware of what they would be like. What was the rest of the question?
Oh, no, that was good. You talked about how you network. That was good.
Cool, yeah.
Thank you.
So networking for me, it always start with yourself, right? Where are you going? Figure out your game plan. Then you see the people in the world that's doing that. Whether it's I'm a big advocate for LinkedIn. I don't have a sponsor. I don't get paid, but I highly recommend figure out where you're going, and then you look on LinkedIn, especially if you're in college. Go see if you want to work at X, Y, and Z company. See if your alumni, anybody from your alumni network works there. That's an easy connection to make, to ask them what is really like working at the company. What does this terminology really mean on a day-to-day basis? So I would say, first of all, start with yourself. Where do I want to go? Who is doing something that I want to do? Reach out via LinkedIn if you have a LinkedIn account. If you don't, recommend making one. It's very easy, and then you can set up a lot of virtual calls and meet that way. Or if you know that they're in the same vicinity as you, you could go have lunch or ask them to have lunch or a drink or whatever the case may be. But figure out where you're going. Use LinkedIn, and if you don't like social media, I would say look up conferences like NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers. Go to those conferences, and when you go to those conferences, when you meet people, ask them, hey, who you recommend I reach out to next that probably could help me in this space. Always, like I said, always stay curious, always ask those forward-thinking questions, but like I mentioned before, always start with yourself. And once you start with yourself, you understand where you want to go, who you need to connect with.
Excellent. Thank you, Kyle and John. Next, we have for John and Lenny, what resources, books, programs, or scholarships would you recommend to young men and women pursuing STEM careers?
Thank you. So probably the best book to read would be I think it was called The Choice, and then there's an engineering book that my senior design teacher gave me that I only read the assigned chapter of. I forgot what it was called, but it's very famous. As for scholarships, in my undergraduate degree, I applied for several hundred of them, and I got a few. So probably if anyone's done FIRST Robotics, it has a list of different scholarships that are available from there. So Google, like the Society of Manufacturing Engineers, are very generous. Going through your university portal is also a great idea because those ones you generally only compete against your classmates or your specific degree program. The College to Career Scholarship is a good one. That was a partnership between NSBE and SHIP DFW. I know that NSBE and SHIP National have their own scholarship programs. Generally, most of my stuff was either I found it on Google or people had told me about them. The Fort Worth ISD also has a very good list of available scholarships for people in Fort Worth. So does the Arlington ISD. So there's definitely lots of great places to look on the internet. And to apply to those, generally you really need a strong personal statement of who you are. So that essay can be reused quite frequently. And then they may ask a bunch of different questions. Generally for a graduate school or like a master's or a doctorate, master's, there's not a lot of scholarships for that because they assume that you have a job and your job will pay for it. Sometimes that's not true. And then for doctoral studies, either your company will pay for it, like myself, or there's lots of good fellowships, like I believe GEM and Ford offer very good fellowships, and then you have to be a research assistant and a teaching assistant, which might not be up everyone's alley. Is there anything else to the question?
Oh, you covered a lot of great resources. Thank you. Josh.
So I have 3 books and 1 program for you guys. So if anyone taking notes, this is some good ones right here. So this book, most people know about it. This is How to Win Friends and Gain Influence. This is a great book, as far as, getting your feet out there. The real world is a lot different than college, so that's a good book to start with. Another book, not similar kind of situation as far as the book, I would say Never Eat Alone. That's by Keith Ferrazzi. This is an excellent book, and to me it's almost like a sequel to How to Win Friends and Gain Influence. It's a really great book where you really learn the importance of communicating with people, even when you're sitting down having a meal. Those kind of engagements go a long way as far as adding value to yourself and whoever else you're obviously eating with. And then the last book I have is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This book is actually how me and Ashley connected. We were at a different networking situation, and we both read that book, and we were talking about how much we enjoyed it and the different chapters that we liked. So that's a book that I would say will really get you to that level as far as being competent, being able to read any room and compete at the highest level. So definitely get those books if you ever have a chance. And then one program I'll highly recommend, especially if you're a young man getting into STEM, get into Toastmasters International. Toastmasters is a great way to work on your public speaking skills, to be able to work on your timing as far as social cues, learn how to read the room, and a lot of these different things are very useful. A lot of companies offer it, they have different clubs all over the place, but definitely look into it if you're somebody that wants to get into STEM and really put your foot out there, because one thing that it doesn't matter if you're a math guy, if you're an engineering guy, if you're a science guy, if you can talk and communicate to people about exactly what they are looking for, that's going to take you anywhere in life. So definitely look into those 3 books. I recommend it. I'll give you the authors, after this. Just, hit me up. But that's what I would recommend.
Awesome. Can we pass it to Warren? And we're going to get, this is an everybody question, as y'all know. The last question of the day is, what advice would you give to young men thinking about majoring in a STEM field? And that's because this is our Men in STEM series, but it can apply to anybody. Okay.
So the advice that I would give, I would say find your craft and master it. There's always something that you can learn, but just find what you're really good at and just master it. And don't be afraid to accept the challenge. And learning at the end of the day is just big, but that'll probably be like just the one big thing I would say, because it'll go a long way.
Yeah, if I was talking to a young man right now, I would tell him, hey, you belong in this STEM space. You have something to contribute to the world. Don't rob us of that. You have something very significant to contribute to the world. You are more than worthy. You are capable. That's what I would tell a young man about STEM.
If I were to tell a young man that's interested in getting into STEM and wanting to pursue that kind of career, I would say, do it with a level of joy. A lot of people in STEM sometimes are, introverts. They might come with a little bit more of a pessimistic attitude just because in a lot of engineering and sciences can be frustrated, and that might, weigh on you as a person. But if you come into it with a level of joy and just delight, you're gonna really, light up a room. You're gonna help people that might even be interested in it like you are currently. And now that person gets in, and now you're bringing so much brain power and so much knowledge and creativity that wasn't in that field. And I'm telling you, as somebody in STEM we need that a lot. So, bring it on, bring your joy, bring your delight as a young man, and, believe in yourself.
Awesome.
So my advice to my younger self or a young man that's interested in STEM would be to first off start ask them questions about what they're passionate about, right? And try to see how that ties into STEM. And that will kind of get people curious. As I mentored over the past 5-6 years, young people don't want to be lectured to. They don't want you to tell them what to do because it's lucrative, or they probably just love Fortnite. So you start asking them, like, hey, who do you think created Fortnite? Do you know that's software engineers? That's how you start connecting that gap between STEM and younger people. So stay curious about what they're curious about and figure out what connection that they have to STEM. And then I'll also say, like the gentleman said before me, that we need more Black ideas, more ideas that come from our community to help evolve this world and this country. So I'll also give them that confidence to let them know that you have something within you that we need, that the world needs. So don't dim that light, be you, and continuing to stay curious is the main thing.
That's good, man. That's good. One thing I would tell man or woman interested, young man or woman interested in STEM is just do it. Ashley, you said it earlier, do it scared, do it, I don't know how to do it. Just do it, right? The biggest thing with that is I would tell them, look, you gotta ask questions. If you don't know, ask. You have to have a high level of emotional intelligence. You have to have a high level of integrity. You have to have a high level of having thick skin and knowing how to communicate. All these things go in, and you guys spoke on having mentors. That's huge. For somebody that's young and trying to get into it. Especially for people that look just like you. Get a mentor. Ask the questions. Ask the hard questions. Don't act like you know everything. If you don't know, just be vulnerable. Just say I don't know. Your boss or the top dog, they don't know everything. So I would tell them, look, you got this, just do it. Do it scared.
So what I would tell to a young person, the next, for just your degree itself, the next 3 to 8 years are going to be challenging, and definitely going to face a lot of things that may be unpleasant. When you were done with studying, you got to go back and get certifications or higher education for advancement opportunities. And I would recommend just to find what other people don't like to do, because that will give you a permanent job security. And just to make sure that you yourself don't actively dislike what you're doing, because that's 40 to however many hours a week of your life, and to make sure that you have hobbies or a strong support group outside.
Amazing. That was the last question. This was the end of the panel. Thank you all for joining. Do y'all see what a great group of men we have today? Thank you. I hope you all have something that you can take away from today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again for your support today. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all next time.